Hi, Savitz here. This video should be a guide for the next 3 bosses we are tackling in Naxx40. And those bosses are in Abomination Wing Gluth, the third boss, fourth Thaddius, and in Death Knight Wing Gothik the Harvester. Let's jump right in. Gluth, about the tactics, what abilities does he have? Okay, so he has Enrage, so you're kind of on a timer. Mortal Wound, this is very important. Stacking debuff reduces healing. That means you want to switch tanks at some point. The boss is not tauntable, so they need to switch by other means. I will come to that in the video, like in a few minutes. Frenzy needs to be countered by Trank Shot from Hunter every 10 seconds. So since Trank Shot has, I think, 20 seconds cooldown, you need at least 2 Hunter, preferably 3, to make a rotation viable there. Decimate, he does that every 100-ish seconds. Everyone in the raid will lose a lot of HP. Tanks need to be healed up immediately. And the mechanic that coincides with that is the Devour Zombie. That means at that point the mobs that spawned, the zombies, they will head straight to Gluth. They can't be slowed. I think they can be stunned though. And when they reach him, they will give him a nice HP boost. So he heals 5% per each zombie he eats. And on top of that, he also has an AoE Fear every 20 seconds. The range is pretty limited, so running out of the fear range for most melee classes is possible. The actual tactic I will talk when we check the video, and up we go. So here you can see the video from rogue point of view. You see I have my skeleton ready. We just jumped down the tube.
First zombie spawning in 2 seconds.
Basically, at the beginning, you really need to watch your aggro. You want to give the tank some time to position the boss properly. Just build some combo points. Debuff, you have the time to put up the debuffs, especially the other tanks, either like Thunderclap if you don't use Thunder Fury. Demo Shout helps also. And you just saw the first fear. Next fear is happening in a few seconds. There are 2 ways to deal with it. Either you run out of it before it happens and then run in, or you just take it. If you want to take it, my strategy for it is stay on the maximum left side close to the door. Since from experience you will end up after the fear usually close to the boss again, so you don't need to run close to him. If you run out and you don't time it correctly, then you most likely end up even further away from the boss, so you will waste even more time. So if you run out, make sure you actually dodge the fear. Besides that, in terms of melee perspective, there's not much to cover. It's from melee, it's a very easy fight, but at the same time, it can be frustrating if the other roles in the raid have some issues and you can't do anything about it because you are limited to what you can do as a rogue or melee player. You saw the first decimate here. So now you see you should go to the big pack where mobs are stacked up. Use your holy water. Holy water does a lot of damage, especially everyone in the raid should use it, but especially the melee players should have it. And then after that, especially as a rogue, focus single targets that are not easily AoE down. Let the targets that are stacked up be killed by players that actually have AoE. You see, here's a zombie with full HP. Don't do anything about those. Those will be kited again. Those spawned after the decimate happened. Do not worry about those. And then back to Gluth. And that is basically what you are doing the whole fight. So since Holy Water has 1 minute cooldown, you can use it the next time for the next decimate as well. Obviously, time your cooldown so that you are not feared when you pop your damage cooldowns. Yeah, that's it in terms of rogue point of view. We will come to the next part, the tanks. What you can see here right now, Sig has aggro. Sig is one of the main tanks. And the other one, as you can see in KTM, is Isvia. Isvia has a lot less aggro right now. The boss is taunt immune. And he does his stacking healing, anti-healing debuff. So in order to drop that, Sig needs to lose aggro and Isvia needs to get aggro. And there are two ways to achieve this. Either Isvia needs to get just more aggro here on KTM than Sig has, like a lot more, so the target will switch. What this means though is both tanks need to stay close to each other in terms of aggro, and potentially other classes are limited in their damage output because they need to wait till enough aggro headroom is available again. What happens here? Let's see. Yeah, just need to check in the video where that was. Okay, yeah, exactly here. So you since the boss fears, this is a good time to change the main tanks. If the main tank is feared and the second highest or whatever, like this, another person on his aggro table is not feared, the boss will head towards that person. In this situation, Sig will actually does not receive any fear ward and he will not counter that fear. He wants to get feared. And Isvia is staying away and outranging the fear. So now the fear happens and the boss will immediately switch target to Isvia. You will see that? Exactly. So, and now the debuff on Sig is ticking down and is gone till Gluth is back. Exactly. So this is a tactic you can use. You can make that happen with fear wards if you have enough priests. The tanks should call out who should receive the next fear ward pretty much, and they should coordinate with the priests to make that happen. Pretty simple. So now we covered what melee should do, we covered what tanks should do. Let's cover quickly what the main camp, so that means most of the healers and most of the range DPS should do. And they should stand directly here and preferably stack up even more. Currently, I mean, now is the decimate phase, so everyone is like going a different place a little bit. But when no decimate phase is happening at the moment, people should stack up, especially the healers. That makes it much easier for the kiters, since if most of the healers are on 1 point and getting heal aggro from the zombies will head to them, and it's very predictable if everyone stacks on one position. Okay. So basically, this is it for 2/3 of the encounter in terms of classes and in terms of roles that should be fulfilled. Now it will be interesting. Let's quickly check a video. Video from when I did the Scourge invasion, when I was farming the Dark Runes or whatever they were called. So what is the difference here? So Obviously, you see all the mobs are already spawned. This is the first big difference. Gluth encounter, the mobs will spawn in an interval of around 10 seconds-ish. That means even if you kite like 10 mobs and then 11 mobs will spawn, and you also need to get aggro of the 11th mob. So that makes the Gluth encounter already much harder than this predictable kiting. The next thing is, yeah, you in the raid, you rather don't want to use Frost Nova. You can use it. It is usually a measure of last resort. You can use it if there is no other player close by. If there are other players close by and you Frost Nova, the mobs will target the players that are still in range, and usually if you kite 10 or more mobs, they will insta-kill that player. Just be warned. The next difference is that in the raid, you actually have help. So you are not kiting on your own. I mean, you want, as a kiter, you want to keep aggro, but you are not kiting, like the whole effort, the whole kiting effort is not done by yourself, but also by the other players who help you slow the targets pretty much. And another difference is in this video, see a mob hits me, I mean whatever, I just use of ice barrier. It's not that difficult. But if you get hit by the zombies in the raid, they will put a debuff on you. And that debuff will increase the damage you take by the next hit. That means, and it stacks, that means if you have 10 of those debuffs, a normal hit that normally would only do 100 damage will be 1000 damage. And so on, and it can stack really high. What that means is you don't want to get hit, very simple. Back from this video now to the specs real quick. We should actually let's check the video first. That might be easier to get a better understanding before I show the specs for that. So why are we here doing Gluth?
Next level trolling.
No, that's not Gluth. That's how's he called again? Grobulus. Why are we here doing Grobulus? That's the boss before Gluth. It's very simple, because as a mage, here is already where you need to prepare for the next boss. So you see, I'm still in combat, so I can't get out of the instance just yet. But you see me in a moment immediately teleporting either Stormwind or like any city where you can quickly switch your spec. I prefer Stormwind in case my Hearthstone is on cooldown. I can use blockades as a way to get to Hearth back to Light's Hope Chapel. So I leave the raid and I quickly get an invite from our teleport group that is outside, and I will get summoned here. And then I will get an invite back to main raid. And once I'm inside the instance, I will get another summon right back to where the raid is. And in the meantime, I'm speccing, like I'm speccing my thingies. And I'm also changing some of my bars here. So what changes compared to my normal spec? I need to put Cold Snap somewhere. That immediately removes the cooldown of most of your frost, or I think all of your frost abilities. And I'm also using Cone of Cold rank 1. I put that in my bars to have that accessible very easily. Also, Ice Barrier you want to put on your bars. And you also want IceBlock on your bars, pretty much. So in this video here, I'm Kiter. I'm Kiter on the left side. and I will be supported, if I remember correctly, by a warrior. Since we don't have 6 mages, we only have 5. I'm the one who supported by a warrior with piercing howl. Okay, so we covered port, respec, resummon. The next thing you want to do is check your buffs. Let's see. Do I get rid of the bags at some point? Oh yeah. So here, Salvation, Paladin buff reduces your aggro. Remove this. If you are kiting, you need to remove it. If you are Blizzard Mage, you want to keep it. Very simple. If you want to kite, you want to get aggro, that means you need to click that off. And double check it because Paladins have a habit to reapply it. So next thing, let's do things back maybe. You can see I prepared for this fight. I have my mana rubby and also all the lower mana rubbies available here. Very useful, very useful. In addition, I'm using stamina consumables for this fight. So it's the Ramsey Rum, 25 stamina food, stuff like that pretty much. Elixir of Fortitude here.
I'll do the buffs.
So let's see what else. You can also use demonic runes, and you can also use your offhand that gives mana back. You will see that in the fight in a second. It's a mage specific quest item. I hope you didn't delete that. Before you head into the tunnel, what you want to do is you want to whisper a priest and tell him that he pre-shields you, and you should also pre-shield yourself with ice barrier before you head in. Make sure you buff yourself with ice armor. Some people, some kiting mages prefer mage armor. It is also viable to do it. Personally, I prefer ice armor since in case I get hit by a mob, he is slowed. Very simple. Okay, abilities. What you want to have available: Cone of Cold, max rank and rank 1. Arcane Explosion, max rank and potentially rank 1 for triggering Clearcast. You want to have Counterspell available. Counterspell is a great way to get aggro. It's generating a lot of aggro. Fire Blast, max rank, also good to get aggro from a single mob. And Frostbolt, max rank and rank 1 are usually also nice in case you need a quick slow on a single target. And yeah, basically this is it. Yeah, let's see how that turns out. Let's actually see some of the gameplay here. Okay, we are running through the tunnel. This is another thing I will cover a bit later. Some people have freezes or lags here. Some people can disconnect it. You should talk to your kiting assistant, so your mage, usually, and let him know in case you have a lag or freeze that he should take over kiting for the moment till you can make it back to the raid here. Okay, so here you see me slowing those targets with Frostbolt in the beginning. The warrior is using Piercing Howl. I got the third mob with Fire Blast. You see, very early on, I'm using my... it was a bit short. Let's go a little bit back. I use my offhand item that gives me mana back. Let's see. Here. Celestial Orbs. As I said earlier, it's a quest item for mages. Gives between 400 and 1200 mana back. Once I use this, I switch the offhand item out with my proper offhand. I use Frost Nova here, no one was in range. And you can use Cone of Cold if you want. The thing is, only the best, like the most, the biggest slow effect will apply to mobs. So Cone of Cold slows down more than Piercing Howl. Piercing Howl is 50%. I don't know exactly how much Cone of Cold is, but it's more. But this is very important for later stage. I will talk about which rank of Blizzard you should use, or like if you skill it. So I now you could see me use my mana rubby now. You should actually use it earlier. I used it way too late. You can use it when you are down 2000 mana-ish. Just use it so your cooldown for the next one is ready again. You can also downrank your spells, rank 1. Rank 1 Arcane Explosion, for example. And then, oh, this is a very good point here. Rank 1 to get clear casting, and once you have clear casting going, then max rank. Here you see me make a mistake. We have a decimate phase coming up. You can see that on the left. Add-ons showing that in 5 seconds. Basically, when this timer goes to 0, you want, as a kiter mage, all your mobs be positioned in the middle. So obviously, 3 seconds is not enough to bring all of those mobs back. And decimate happens. So when decimate happens, I'm casting Frostbolt, but you see the mob is not slowed. So you can't slow them. I think you can stun them though. As the kiter, do not worry about the mobs. Do not worry about it. Just get evocation, get your mana back, and have a look at your debuffs. In this kiting I was doing the last like 20, like how many seconds? A minute, like close to 2 minutes. I have 5 mobs in total. I got hit by 5 mobs in total. And I have like yet 10 seconds till this debuff disappears. So I do not want to get hit by a mob in the next few seconds. And now it's gone and I can take more risks again. As a mage, you can reset those debuffs with your IceBlock though. So this is also very useful in case you fucked up. You can quickly reset it, and since you have Cold Snap, you can use it 2 times.
How are the kiters going?
Okay, so basically here's everyone on my side is going very well, but on the other side we have 2 kiters down, and since that is the case, yeah, this is a wipe pretty much. But I think you got a good idea already in terms like how you kite it. And I will show you a few more videos, a few more positions with some other tricky stuff as well. Okay, I covered most of what I wanted to say here. Let's see. Oh yeah, we will go a little bit forward and check this portion of the video, because here you can see me get a big lag. And this is, by the way, the video is showing, I'm not slowing it down now. And you see, now I have big freeze, a big lag. In order to avoid that, at least on Chronos, you need to turn down your viewing distance. As I said earlier, make sure you coordinate with your other guys beforehand so they know, in case you have a freeze, that someone else is picking up the mobs. And when you jump down here, you get fall damage. So right now I'm at 2000 HP, I get about 500 fall damage, should be fine. But I make sure to pop a health consumable. I do not want to die here. That would be embarrassing. And you see the warrior already did a good job, picked all those mobs up in the meantime, and I'm here. A little bit late, but whatever. Picking up those mobs. Okay, in terms of how you want to kite. So in this clip, I'm using a mix of good single items and tier 3 pieces, but it's not best in slot good yet. I did the same kiting with the Bloodvine set, so with much less HP, and much less mana. It's also doable, no problem. It's harder though. If you have access to tier 2, you can use 5 set of tier 2, since that will increase the range of your Arcane Explosion and most of your AoE spells by 25%, which makes it much easier to kite those mobs. But it's not needed. Like you can see me doing here just fine. I have 12 stacks right now, so now would be a good time to use IceBlock. I don't use IceBlock, like, and I'm also low on mana right now. I can't use Mana Ruby since I used the Health Stone in the beginning, but it worked out since now the Decimate happened, so I have time. When the Decimate happens, the mobs, they will head straight to the boss, don't worry about it. We can cover the different specs now, basically. Let's quickly bring up the specs. We start with the kiting spec. This is the kiting spec. Or that is one option to do a kiting spec. So this is how I do it. There are a lot of different variations of that. The important points are: do not skill this arcane subtlety, that's 40% reduced aggro from arcane spells. Since you will be using a lot of arcane explosion to hold aggro, this is like, do not skill this. It makes your job way harder. Then do not skill frost channeling. This is 30% reduction of aggro from your frost spells. Since you want to get aggro, do not skill this. Those two are like extremely important to get. Permafrost is also very important to get, and I would also opt for Arctic Reach. Arctic Reach increases the range of your frost abilities. Permafrost increases the slow effect, very important. Meditation to get mana back, and then Arcane Resilience is very nice to get a bit more armor in case you do get hit. Same goes for Frost Warding, is also increasing your armor when you have ice armor on you buffed. Additionally, Arcane Concentration comes in handy to get clear cast, and it will help you conserve your mana. I would strongly suggest getting IceBlock so you can reset your stacks. And I would also strongly suggest Ice Barrier, can help you survive a lot. Cold Snap is a no-brainer as well. And then points you can easily swap around is improved Frost Nova. Not really needed. It's a matter of last resort. Same goes for improved Frostbolt. I like to have less casting time on that in case I do want to use it. But in the video you saw me using that maybe 3 times total. So that's up to you. This is the spec, or one spec for kiting. If you are not a kiter, but Blizzard mage, so you are helping the kiter, you want obviously to skill stuff like this. So decreases your aggro by arcane spells. Much more important, frost channeling, because you will do Blizzard most of the time. You do not want to get aggro of mobs. And one thing that I see a lot of people do, maybe do wrong, but do not really realize it, is improve Blizzard. Usually you want to go 2 out of 3 improve Blizzard. It's a trade-off. If you go 3 out of 3, the mobs are slowed more. They are slowed down like by 65%. Okay. But you also rob the kiter of his ability to control those mobs with his own spells. So if he sees like an opportunity, or he sees some problems are rising, he can use his Cone of Cold, and Cone of Cold will override 2 out of 3 Blizzard, improved Blizzard, but not 3 out of 3. As you remember from earlier, only the highest slowing debuff will apply. So it's a trade-off between slowing them with improved Blizzard, like for stronger, and giving the Kiter mage the ability to control the fight a bit more. So usually 2 out of 3 here, unless specifically requested by the mage who is kiting. Yeah, besides that, you will need to put rank 1 Blizzard in your bar, because you don't need the damage, you only need the slowing effect, and otherwise you go quickly out of mana. And this is basically it in terms of both specs. As the kiter, you do want to enchant your boots with minor speed. It gives you 8% faster run speed, and you can use swiftness of Sansa for additionally 20% increased run speed. But keep in mind, if you already have a Spirit of Sansa, I would not override it. I would only use Swiftness of Sansa in case you died earlier and you don't have any Sansa potion on you, then use Swiftness of Swiftness Sansa. Exactly. So, I want to show you one. Let's see. Yeah, I want to show you two more quick clips here. In this clip, you can see me on the left side as a kiter, and the Blizzard mage has 3 out of 3 improved Blizzard. So how do you deal with that? Like, what changes here? The change is that you really want to kite the mobs in the Blizzard area. This is much more important than if you have only 2 out of 3 Blizzard. And another thing that is very important, before you go and do this encounter, talk to your kiter mage / talk to your Blizzard mage. Both of those need to coordinate with each other. Most important is, do you want the Blizzard always to be on the same position as the kiter, or do you want the Blizzard to follow you? And this is, I mean, both tactics are viable, but if you don't know what the other guy will do, it becomes very unpredictable and, yeah, very hard to do. As you see here, this works very nicely. The mobs just spawn. Usually I can get the mob that spawns last with an arcane explosion. But if that's not the case, I will use Fire Blast or my counterspell. I can also use counterspell. So, and here, again, quickly need to use evocation to get back to kiting. And that's basically it. Yeah. You see, when this guy spawned, I did not use max rank Frostbolt. Why didn't I use max rank? Because I still had 6 stacks here and I didn't want him to hit me, so I used the lowest rank to get him slowed, and now I'm using Fire Blast to get aggro of him. No, I should use Cone of Cold or... Yeah, so I messed up. He hit me. He hit me even though. But, I mean, you didn't see me die in this clip at least. So all in all, it's still okay. There is some room for error, but if you just don't care and run around the mobs all the time, your kiting will be short-lived. Let's say that. Okay. I think we saw most of what we can get from this point of view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to show you one quick clip where I'm the Blizzard Mage in the middle.
Avoid
So what I
rank
did,
heal.
I talked to my Kiter. It's Erdolf here in the middle, and we coordinated that I will follow him around with my Blizzard.
Priest be on lookout for zombies in the raid. Make sure you're shackled.
As you see, this. I mean, I need to cast Blizzard much more often comparatively. I think he's using Sansa. He's moving like really fast. And this is definitely working. But I would say the tactic with the Blizzard just in the middle, it's, at least for me personally, when I'm kiting, seems like the better choice. But again, this is up to discussion between the two guys who are actually kiting on that location. And here's something interesting. When you actually get aggro of one of those mobs and you don't have any stacks, don't worry about it. Like it's no big deal. And the kiter usually will grab the mob in a second. Yeah. So or not. I think he was out of mana or something.
I think I'm good.
My war will be off cooldown. We want it on it.
Decimate is going out in 10 seconds. Get the zombies.
So maybe one more thing, depending on where you are standing, the mobs you get, oftentimes you get initial aggro as a Blizzard Mage. And when that, and obviously if you stand further back, the mobs will go further back first. So that might be something you want to do. As the Blizzard Mage, you also need to evocate, but you can help much more with the AoE compared to the Kiter Mage. So you definitely want to do some AoE and then evocate. Like I'm overdoing the AoE here. I should be evocating already. Okay. And let's see one last point of view, because this clip will be like I can show you some of the more interesting stuff here. As a healer, and especially a healer that is responsible for the mages. So I'm pre-shielding my mage I'm responsible for, and I'm pre-shielding myself while we're heading through the tunnel. I would advise against using any heal over times in the tunnel, since that makes it harder for the tank to grab initial aggro of the boss, and it can easily one-shot you if you have heal aggro in the beginning and the tank has a miss, etc. So when you jump out here, your Kiter mages usually are not full HP, so you need to make sure heal them up immediately, and after that shield them. So I'm responsible for Egwin on the left, or like the middle side, and Winsard on the left side. So this is from my point of view right now, it's the right side, but if you run in, it's the left side. Yeah. So yeah, keep an eye on both of them. Make sure to stand in a predictable manner. So if you get heal aggro, mobs will head to you, and then the casters can pick them up real quick. This is, you just saw me. Let's go quickly back here. So I see one mob is moving, is not being picked up, so I'm using my shackle to do it, to get them under control. This is very important for mages. When those guys are shackled, please do not let them be shackled forever. Pick them up the next time like you are available. You have mana, you have a fire blast ready, whatever. Because what happens if you do not pick them up, when the decimate phase comes and they are not stacked up, it makes it much, much harder for everyone to kill all the mobs in time. So please pick them up if you are not under stress of dying because of all the other mobs. Obviously, if you have real problems staying alive, then just focus on kiting the other guys. But if you can afford like this extra bit of concentration, then yeah, do it. And as you see here, usually if the mages get hit, they get hit for a lot. You should also watch out in case any other healer gets hit by the gets healing aggro and get hit by the zombies. Make sure to heal them quickly. And this is basically it. One more thing, as the priest, keep the shield up at all times,
zombies into the middle for
and make sure if you have power infusion, do not use it when the zombies are full HP. Use power infusion. Right now would be a good time to help a mage or a warlock to quickly AoE those mobs down. And again, use your holy water in like in the pack where the guys are stacked up, so where you have most effect pretty much. And this is the fight in terms of like priest's point of view that is responsible for the kiting mages here.
We just need some more.
And this is pretty much the fight, covered from different point of views. Let's go to the next boss. Is where is it? Thaddius. That's the next guy. Let's second here. Let's go a bit further from my rogue point of view, because just when that happens, I can give you some good advice. Boss is down, door opens. Watch out. There can be a patrol directly outside here. Do not pull them. And in case you pull them, do not run back to the raid, just die. Because otherwise that can easily be a wipe. Besides that, when the boss is done, you can, when you check left and right, no patrol is coming, just go straight to this direction here. So can we have a quick look at Thaddius? Maybe, let's see, do I check the room? Not really. Yeah, okay, maybe from here. You see, we have one mob. There's pretty much the same mob on the other side, has slightly different abilities, and in the end there is Thaddius. Both mobs need to die at the same time. Let's get the official thingy up. So Stalag has a War Stomp, AoE. Eugen has AoE mana drain ability, can be outranged if you like really outrange it, but usually on the left side there are casters, on the right side there are the melee players. And basically let's see that fight from rogue point of view. When we go in here, you want to watch your aggro.
I don't know if that was too late to say.
Let the tank get a proper aggro. And you see this ability, or like this lightning effect. If at any point any of those duets are pulled away from the balcony area, they will chain lightning the raid, which will usually end up in a lot of people dead and a wipe. So in case you get aggro, stay on the balcony. Very simple. You see on the left side the timer is ticking down for a throw. You will see once this hits 0, he will throw the tank to the other side and vice versa. That happens right now. One guy is flying to the other side, and one tank here immediately picks up the boss again. They are tauntable, if I remember correctly. Exactly. This also means when the main tank is flying away that you, if at all possible, want to have a second person being like available to taunt immediately. Otherwise it can be, the damage can be on the other players. And you see here, the wipe was called, we lost too many players and they did the chain lightning. The other thing is, both of those need to be killed at the same time. If they are not killed at the same time, they will res each other. Okay, that means the raid lead and also the DPS players need to watch out how much HP the guy on the other side has, and if they are not going down at the same pace, you need to make sure either the melee or the casters need to slow down. Very simple. Once this guy is down, here, make sure you make the jump properly. You do not want to fall down in the green slime. If you fall down, it's not good, but it's also not the end of the world. You will run back here on the left side to the entrance and then go back on the balcony and jump down. So on Kronos, you have now the ability to drink. You will get out of combat for a few seconds. Another very important point, if you are on progression here, for the first two guys, like for the first mini bosses, you do not want to waste your consumables. But now that both of those are down, you really, really want to use your consumables, your DPS consumables. Now is a good time, as you can see in the video here, I'm popping my stuff and we are attacking. Make sure do not over aggro. Very important. And when you see him casting polarity shift, I mean, that's a cast you can't really miss, like it's really big.
Get ready, minus left, plus right.
You need to check here on the right side or wherever your debuff will show up, what debuff you have. I have plus. Plus means right side, minus means left side. So I go right side. Very simple.
Remember, max melee range.
This is the core mechanic of this fight. Very simple. Like it's not a hard mechanic, but if you mess it up, it's a very, very unforgiving mechanic. If you mess it up only one time, chances are you are dead and you probably kill some other people with it as well. So, like one additional information about that, the more players that are close to you, the higher this stack will go. So right now it's 15 guys with plus stacks around me. That means I am doing like plus 150% extra damage. That means don't worry so much about your rotation. What you really want to do is watch your stacks and stay alive. Because even if you mess up your rotation, just staying alive and providing the other guys with the plus 10% damage increase you have is already much better than what like your perfect rotation could achieve. Yeah. So again, pay close attention. You do not always get the other polarity, so it's random. Sometimes you stay on your side, sometimes you need to move. Pay close attention when you get it. A few times I'm on the plus side and I get plus again and I get plus again, and then I forget, oh, that I need to watch out, and then I die. So this is usually how that happens. You need to pay attention every time he does the polarity shift. When he does the polarity shift, there are two ways to get to the other side. Either, as you can see in the video here, so you go always on your left to the other side. That means I'm minus right now, I'm going left and then to the other side, and the guys on the plus side go to their left, that is currently my right, and go here. So they pretty much, we do a circle motion. For progression, in my opinion, it's a little bit better, but if you have it on farm, I would say runs just straight through the boss. It's quicker, but potentially, if some people are late, could kill the tank. So that's basically it. The boss doesn't hit for that much until he is enraged. You do not want to like fight so long that he is actually enraging, because this will make very short, like the fight won't last much longer then. One more thing I wanted to cover here. Yeah, exactly. So the melees need to stay max range, but the casters do not stay too far away. You still want to provide everyone on your side with the buff, or with the debuff, so to say, with the stacking debuff. So you need to stack up pretty much. Mages need to pay special attention to their ignite. They can over aggro. Holy water is extremely good to use. It's providing a lot of damage. Everyone should have some holy water here. The boss is not hitting for that much, so some of the healers can actually do DPS on this boss.
We have 1 minute.
And your rotation, what you can do in your rotation, what is actually for I think most classes pretty easy. Do not use your cooldowns or your most damaging ability when you don't have any stacks. So right now I have 5 combo points and now I have 12 stacks. Now is a good time to use my Eviscerate. Yeah? But when he does his polarity shift, let's see. So next polarity shift is coming up. Now I have 0 stacks right now. Do not use a 5 combo point Eviscerate now. It's a total waste. Wait till you get exactly 11 stacks again, and then you will do lots more damage. Yeah. And this is basically it. So the boss, the mechanic is not that hard, but it's very unforgiving. And actually, let's see. What you can see here, he gets enraged. This was actually a progression run we did when I was playing on my rogue. He gets enraged, and you see the fight is like done in a moment. So he's at 6%. You would think, oh, that's actually we can kill him in no time. And then one person dies, next person dies, etc. This is, yeah. Quite funny to go back to the progression rates. Exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. This is what happens if you do not pay attention. And so I fucked up. You can see polarity shift is coming up. I was busy with something else. I don't remember, but you see I'm at minus now. I should move. I do not move. And this is what happens. Yeah, so do not be that person, please. Do not be that person, because I think I killed like 4 people or something. And I obviously killed myself. The boss still goes down, but yeah, do not be that person. And exactly, one more thing about the boss. So when he is killed, you need to do 2 things. First thing, spread out quickly, but not to the other side. Like plus stays on plus, minus on minus. Spread out and lock out immediately. This is, I'm not sure if this is vanilla or Chronos thing, but at least on Chronos, when the time is up and the debuff is should be gone, you will be killed. But basically, no, that's not right. You won't necessarily be killed, but you will apply damage to the people around you. Doesn't matter if you are plus or minus. So if you log out and let the debuff tick down while you're offline, nothing happens. So just a precaution, especially if you use a lot of consumables. You do not want to die yourself, nor do you want to kill any of the other players. Okay, so Thaddius covered. Let's see Gothik encounter. So Gothik is in another wing, Abomination wing. We covered all the bosses now. Death Knight wing, Gothik the Harvester, second boss. quickly go over the abilities. This is an interesting fight. The boss doesn't even fight you, at least in the beginning. It's a little bit like Blackwing Lair Razor Gore, as it is DPS and gear check. So you need a certain amount of DPS pretty much to be able to beat him. Let's see, he has a Shadow Bolt. Okay. And this, the second ability, this is really nasty. Once he joins the fight, he will debuff the raid, and this debuff will stack and will decrease your stats by 10%. That means if you drag out the fight too long, your raid will become progressively worse in terms of DPS output, mana, health, all that stuff. So once he enters the fight at 4 minutes 34 seconds, you really want to kill him fast, pretty much. Let's see. Maybe I will show you video first. Let's see. Exactly. Once you come around this corner, you enter the room, and you can see on the left side is a so-called living side. On the right side, behind now it's open. The door is open, but usually this gate is closed once the fight starts. On the right side is the undead side. On the living side, let's see. On the living side, there will be 3 different kinds of mobs spawning. I do not go into too much detail here, but basically it's small mobs, medium mobs, big mobs. And the same one goes for the other side as well. Small, medium, big, and then also horses on the undead side. What is important is the killing order, how you want to deal with them. That means on the living side, left side, unrelenting rider, so the guy on the horse needs to be killed first. Then the death knights, then the trainees. The trainees can be sheeped. The death knights can be shackled. Okay, on that side, the spectral trainees need to be killed first, then the riders, then the death knights, then the spectral horses. So you see me here as a warrior, also progression rate that you can easily see by all the corpses lying around. That's not the first try we did. And I'm tanking. Normally, range DPS casters stay on the left side, the living side. Melee players, rogues, warriors, etc. will go to the right side.
Everything spawning.
Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. Like I really like my ancient cornerstone grimoire, as you can see on all my characters. So my skeleton is slightly flipping out, excited about the mobs. The trainees, they do not do much damage, so I'm tanking with my 2-hand for now. I just clicked off my salvation. That's if you are tanking here, click off your salvation. On each of the 3 spawn locations, usually there is 1 tank to pick those mobs up. And yeah, basically trainees, not much to worry about. More trainees. You can see the first death knights. Yeah, basically where it gets interesting is in a moment, because more mobs will be spawning here. You can see one of the death knights is already shackled. Once a mob gets shackled or sheeped, do not attack it anymore, and the person who shackled or sheeped him in the first place needs to keep that crowd control up till the actual boss is down. So you need to reshackle, resheep the guy all the time in the fight from then on. Very important. For the bigger mobs here, you see me equipping shield, obviously. And I think in a moment I make a little mistake. You will see shortly, and I will also increase the volume so you can hear the response of our raid lead to my how to say
That knight's in 6 seconds.
interesting playstyle. Let's say it like that. Oh yeah, here you can see it. You see, there's I'm tasked in the middle. I should only tank the middle pretty much. But since I already killed my mobs, I think why not? And this unrelenting Death Knight is currently moving towards a priest. So I think, I do not want the priest to die. Let's quickly intercept in and get the mob back. What I don't see is it's already shackled. And I'm intercepting. Intercepting also does damage, so the mob is already out of the shackle. Plus, I also crit the mob, unfortunately. And if I crit the mob, it immediately has a damage over time effect applied to him. So yeah, very hard to get under control again, since damage over time. But let's hear what our raid lead has to say about that.
Who interrupted? No! What are you doing, Sapatsus?
Okay, so basically, there like the proverb goes, if you do shit, handle it. So I taunted the mob. I think I taunted the mob at least. So he's on me right now. And since my taunt has cooldown and the mob would be running freely now, I'm using my AoE taunt as well to keep him on me for longer till the damage over time effect drops off of him. And once that happens, he can be easily shackled up again. So even though I fucked up, we managed. So basically this goes on for around 3 minutes. Let's see, I can tell you exactly how long. For 3 minutes 44 seconds. And then no more mobs will spawn on the living side. The thing is, when you kill a mob on the living side here, I will show you in a second. Here, mob is down. You see this, like his ghost or his soul, whatever you want to call it, is moving up to the side and is moving to the undead side. And he, like this mob, will spawn on the undead side again. Slightly different abilities. So the undead side has to deal with them. That means if you kill all the mobs, if you do not shackle or sheep any of the mobs, the undead side might have problems dealing with so many mobs at the same time. They might not have enough DPS and get overrun. And this is the reason why you want to shackle and sheep, pretty much crowd control some of the mobs. So this side is pretty much done. And now the boss joins the fight. When he joins the fight, do not attack him immediately. Let the tank get some aggro. Do not do as I say, not as I do. So I immediately got aggro. I mean, I can afford it since I'm in half tank gear pretty much, but it is close. I nearly die here. And yeah, basically full DPS. The priests and the mages need to keep their crowd control up because those mobs have a tendency to get out of those.
Okay, one shackle is broken.
Make sure do not use your whirlwind here.
Don't use bets here. Jesus.
Do not use your whirlwind if any of the other mobs are close by.
Stop breaking it.
And after a few seconds, after half a minute or so, he teleports to the other side. So now the undead side needs to deal with him. And once he ported to the other side one time, and once that is done, the door actually does it open? I think it only opened because we killed him. Let me check real quick.
that shit. Let's go. Bust it up. We can wipe
He
now.
lands on the caster side, will teleport twice to the melee side. After he has teleported back to the caster side the final time, the doors will open and melee are free to run across the finish and finish him up. Okay, so basically another thing you want to watch out for, when he teleports over to the undead side, just keep your shackles and sheeps up. Do not kill any more of the mobs until the boss is down, basically. And that's it. You saw it now from the point of view from warrior tanking. I will show you a rogue point of view. That should be this exactly. Make sure when just before the fight starts, stack up near the middle so you get all the buffs, and then go to your side, because if you're on the wrong side and the door closes, the gate closes, you are stuck on that side. That would really suck. And basically you need to wait till the other side kills the first mobs, and then the trainees come. Trainees do an arcane explosion, can be stunned, should be killed immediately. That arcane explosion is really nasty. Greater arcane protection potions are nice on this side. On the living side, greater shadow protection potions are nice, but they are, like, how to say, they are very good to have as backup, let's say it like that. If you have enough DPS, if your raid is good enough, you don't need to use them. But sometimes you might be in a situation where you are low on HP and you would rather use one than die. And if you don't have any, then good luck. You see, on this side, on the living side, let's go over the kill order real quick. The little ones need to be killed first, the trainees, since they do the arcane explosion, then the riders, then the death knights, and the spectral horses last.
I like some damage here.
And I think that was progression for my rogue raid in Immortals as well. But the guys on the other side, the casters, they are so fast, so they have so much DPS that they will actually kill the boss before he even comes to our side. Let's see. Yeah, he's already he's already down before we even have a chance on the melee side, on the undead side, to go to him.
No faith.
Yeah. So I will show you this fight from one more perspective with a slight twist. Here, that's also on Kronos. We stack up all on the left side. Usually you would put half of the raid on the undead side, but here we will all stack up here, and the melees slightly more to the door, to the gate area, and they will just kill the mobs once they are close at the gate and kill them. This is like another tactic you can use. I'm not sure if it's Blizz-like or not, but it definitely works. As a caster, pretty much the same applies what I said earlier. Kill order stays the same. And sometimes I will fast forward a little bit. Sometimes you want to sheep mobs. I think, yeah, one of the trainees, I think that's my sheep. So you want to keep that target sheeped. Sheep it like every 15 seconds or so. They have a tendency to get out of sheep. And that's basically it. Let's see when the boss is back. Oh, this is actually very good. Here you can see it when the next mob spawns. This is those riders. Yeah, Unrelenting Rider. They do AoE shadow damage. You see here close to 500 shadow damage. This is why the shadow protection potion is nice. You, as a caster, probably can outrange it, I would think. Let's fast forward a little bit. The boss joins the fight now. And now make sure do not pull aggro watch your ignites, especially as mages. And yeah, the boss himself, his abilities are not that crazy. I would recommend using some HP consumables, since the shadow volley or the shadow bolt he casts can hit quite hard, especially if you're not full HP, you might die. Especially if you're a caster, have low HP pool. And this is basically it. So we covered, let's go quickly to our overview page here. We covered Gluth, Thaddius, and Gothik the Harvester. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. And thanks for watching. Stabutzas out.